Hello everyone, what's up? This is Shatner's Prodigy, and I'm back! Hey, I was dead for a while, just like my boy Chicken Game, but I'm back. So here our opening hand is pretty good. We draw the 1-for-1, and I set 2, activate 1-for-1, and here I'm thinking, alright, I can go for Tuningware. I open 2 Desynchros. If I get Tuningware Formula Synchron, I should be able to go the heck off. Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot I had 2 tuners. I was gonna try and cap G Synchro for Reagan, but I see that I can't. So I go for the Formula Synchron, ready to get that easy draw 6. And this freaking AI, scumbag Ring of Destructions me. So I can't do that. I'm stuck. The reason why I'm not playing against people on DN for this is that I'm currently... banned on Duel Network, and I can't get Dev Pro working, so I'm using Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and I'm just facing off against the AI and setting his deck to random, which is honestly kind of fun. I might keep on doing it. So here I summon out these 2 guys, and I'm going to make Formula Synchron. I can't use Tuningware this time, so I can only get 3 draws from him. I know, a national tragedy. So here I see a Reagan play. I have to go for Armory Arm first because I have Desynchro down. And if I went for Reagan using Ganashia, Level Eater, and Chawa, then Ganashia would get banished and I would not be able to special summon my... I would not be able to Desynchro my Reagan for more draws. So here, I think you're about to see like the slickest play this deck can make now. Because for some reason they decided to make Coral Dragon a tuner. So that means you can sync up for Coral Dragon, pop 1 card, then Level Eater him down for a level 5, and then Synchro Summon up for Stardust Charge Warrior, draw 1 from Charge Warrior and 1 from Coral Dragon, and get a free draw 2 that way. It's a really good play. If you have like Librarian up 2, you can draw 3, and it's really just kind of a push that the deck needed to kind of replace Reagan a little bit. Not Reagan, to replace the upstarts and Chicken Games it lost. So talking about the deck a little bit, now that we've had a while to test with it after the ban list, I think this version that I'm using now works as well, if not a little bit better, than the pre-ban list deck, I want to say, almost. Because it has Coral Dragon, and Coral Dragon is amazing. But Coral Dragon's not coming out in the TCG till August, so until then you're just going to have to deal with your deck kind of sucking. The deck, as it stands, is kind of like a little bit of a TG Hyperlibrarian deck, and here I'm thinking about what I want to do, because I need to get to the Quasar, but this field is hyper awkward. I kind of messed up because I miscalculated with the Fabled Quasar effect. I should have brought out Level Eater first, but my field's kind of too clogged at the moment. But luckily I see a play to get out everything I need by going through Trish. I'm just going to summon out Level Eater, make Trish, and then bring out Chawa using Ayers Rock Sunrise. But yeah, so the deck can still function very well with Coral Dragon, and without Coral Dragon, it functions moderately well. So, yeah. And yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say about the deck. It can still make Quasars, and let's get into the duel now. So, I just made my first Quasar here. Again, that swag Ring of Destruction on Formula freaking Synchron really hurt my deck. The AI sniped out that I had 2 Desynchros, and it was like, nah, not letting you have that, fam. So whatever, but it's almost a blessing in disguise. So here I activate Monster Reincarnation, just really for no reason, not gonna lie. A good play would have probably been to add back like Cruss, then discard Cruss to get a Kushano back to my hand, and then use Cruss's effect to bring out an Azuchi or a Cruss, normal summon Kushano, and make Reagan. That's probably the best use you have for Monster Reincarnation in the deck. The reason why I chose to run Monster Reincarnation is that I just needed cards. I know, Upstart Goblins to 1, I need to run a 39 card deck, and it's tough finding 39 cards to run. Sorry. My throat's a bit sore, so if you hear me cough, that's it. I've been dealing with a little sinus infection. But I have a rare opportunity to record, so I figured I would take that opportunity instead of squandering it. So I'm just going to swing in for Ultra Game. And yeah, GG to that guy. So I haven't been able to do this much because for the past 2 months, a like foreign exchange student has been living in my house, and I didn't want to record near them because, you know, I didn't want to worsen their experience. And here we see the guys playing Constellars, but luckily he doesn't make Pallades. I think those 2 back rows are like Fiendish Chains or something, so I'm really wary. And this hand is also kind of just straight trash. But here's a good play that you kind of always want to look out for, is being able to have Glow Up Bulb, a level 4, and a Level Eater in the graveyard, because that gives you automatically a TG Hyper Librarian and Formula Synchron play, which lets you draw 2, which is very important. The deck nowadays is all about getting draw power, since you lost your Upstart Goblins in your chicken games. So you need to take that draw power wherever you can get it. I'm actually thinking of putting Desynchro up to 3, just because it's such an important card. It just lets you flip back whatever synchro you have and just summon it again, and it's so amazing. It works wonders with it works wonders with Formula Synchron, with Coral Dragon, with Ancient Fairy Dragon, with Trish. It's just such a brilliant card. So I'm going to test out 3 Desynchros. But yeah, another card I'm running that you don't get to see is Hand Destruction. I'm running it at 2, but I don't ever draw it in this episode. And the reason why I'm running Hand Destruction is there's no inherent like benefit to it in this deck right now, but the reason why you run it is that it gets like dead crap out of your hand. So if you have like Desynchros, Hand Destructions, Tuning Wares, Level Eaters, Hat Trick, it's just clogging your hand. You just use Hand Destruction, dump 2 to the graveyard, and draw 2. It won't trigger your Fabled, but it's just a nice little card to have. So here we go for that swift. We go for Trishula. But a better play was probably to Level Eater the Coral Dragon for 1 and then go for Stardust Charge Warrior. I would have gotten to Reagan in 1 fewer steps, but, I mean, it's just, I don't know. That was probably a misplay, to be honest. Here I end up going for this really awkward Quasar, but I could have had it right there if I would have, done that play with Level Eater and Coral Dragon, which is honestly one of the best plays this deck has at the current moment. Reagan has kind of fallen to secondary importance in the deck, and where it used to be just make Reagan until you could make Quasar, you really need to make Librarian first in this deck whenever you can, because you need that extra draw power, even if you're just like summoning out a TG Hyper Librarian to summon out a Colossalus. That's good. That's a good play, because you're drawing 1 card, and if you draw a tuner that you can get on the field, then you can start to draw other cards off of that TG Hyper Librarian. That's kind of the direction this deck has to take if it's going to proceed and be relevant in the coming days. And you're also going to see throughout this video I make a lot of weird level Quasars. Like here I make a 7-3-2 and I make 6-4-2s a lot. And that's kind of what the deck needed. It's no longer just Reagan spam deck. The deck has evolved, which I think is something that I hadn't really done for a long time. Maybe since it was Reagan Turbo back in the day in like 2010, 2013. So, yeah. So he summons out Siat and has 1 back row. If you have 1 back row against Quasar, you're not doing crap. I activate Dark World Dealings and I draw into Soul Charge, so rip that. Yeah. So I was thinking of running Magical Stone Excavation to get back, like, Upstart Goblins and stuff. But I didn't end up doing that. So here you're going to see me going first. Let's see what we do. Hand is pretty trash. I opened too many normal summons, and I decided to normal summon out my Nizuchi, because here I can make Ancient Fairy Dragon to get Tuneware out of my hand. And the reason why Ancient Fairy Dragon is so important in this deck is to, again, clear out your hand. So you can go for those Reagan plays, so you can go for those TG Hyper Librarian plays. And so I go for Ancient Fairy Dragon, then I activate Instant Fusion to get Norden and make the Reagan. And the reason why I make Reagan here, as opposed to what I just told you about, always going Librarian first, is that if I make Librarian, I can't continue my play. And continuing your play is the most important factor in this entire deck. So here I activate Soul Charge. Sorry again. And I get 1 card, which Soul Charging for 1 is like never ideal. You typically want to Soul Charge back until your monster zone is full. But here I only needed 1 card to continue my play. If I would have brought out more cards, I would have just clogged my field. And here I have that swift pot of greed in the form of Formula Synchron and freaking, what do you call it? Tuningware. I think I might do this for the rest of my Fabled Quasars versus the world. Tell me what you think about that. Because it's kind of better. Because you don't have quitters, you don't have too many, like, just boring matchups, and you don't have, like, people who would troll you. So this might be better, actually. Tell me what you think in the comments below, but I'm thinking of officially switching this over. Switching Fabled Quasar vs. the World over from Dueling Network to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Because it's really just a more fluid experience. So I'm looking at my options here, I'm like, what can I get with Cross, man? I stupidly don't go for the obvious play, which would be to get Grimro and then bring out Chalo with Ayers Rock Sunrise, but whatever, ignore that. Ignore that play. I didn't do that. So here I make that cool. Here I decided to keep Ancient Fairy Dragon in the field just to continue my play, even though I had the Quasar with Colossalus and some other cards. Colossalus, Formula, and Ancient Fairy Dragon. So I see he's playing Black Wings. I negate the No-Thung here because I don't want him getting that extra normal summon, and I don't want to take 800 damage. He sets one back row. Here I see a play where I can make, you know, stuff, but I decided to just go for game because I really don't want to give him another turn because he added what do you call it, Kalute. So whatever, I go into AI mode again, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro has a really impressive collection of AI decks, I will say, including Darklaw.deck. So we instantly scoop to Darklaw, as we always have, because even with Coral Dragon, you have no way to make it unless you draw the, what do you call it, unless you draw the Coral Dragon play. So here, hand is absolute garbage. Activate Dark World Dealings, summon out that guy, activate 1 day apiece, get absolutely nothing. So here I see a play where I can make 2 6s. So I decide to go for Coral Dragon, and I have to use my normal summon on Hat Tricker, which is just tragic. And I see he's playing Cosmo, so that's just crap. I draw into another Crust, so that's nothing doing. Add back the Hat Tricker, and if you could use 2 monsters to summon Quasar, I would have had the Quasar here. I'm just gonna say that. So I summon out Coral Dragon, and there's nothing I can do. So I pass it back to him. And here we're going to see the most disrespectful play I've ever seen. So he goes Terraforming. He activates Reasoning. I call 5 just because I really don't want him to hit my back row, because it's an instant fusion that could help me next turn. So he summons out Strawman, and he's Honest on the Strawman, which is just the single most disrespectful play I've ever seen in my entire life. Using freaking Honest on the Strawman. But whatever. I use Instant Fusion, I bring out Norden, but I can't do anything. I don't run any 8s, and he uses Solemn Notice on the Norden. I drew 2 Desynchros. Nothing I can do. He has the second Dark Destroyer. And yeah, that's just how Cosmo rolls. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry.